have now entered July. Actually, we're 20 days into July. So today, I'm going to give you my 3 best, my 3 worst, my most surprising, and my most disappointing movie of the year halfway through. Now, July has been a great month for movies so far. I've seen 2, Evil Dead Burn, The Odyssey. Both of them, if they released a month earlier, would be making an appearance in this video. Right, but I'm including only movies from the first half of the year. So from January to June, not including July. Or else The Odyssey would be number 1. Just so we're clear, my number 1 in this video is not going to be the same as my number 1 in real life. Because The Odyssey is that good. I really want to watch The Odyssey again, man. Before I dive in, please tell me your best, your worst, your most surprised movie, and your most disappointing movie in the comment section. I'd love to know all that and more. With that said, we're going to start off with my most surprising movie of the year. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Do you like what I'm doing? Do you like what I'm doing with... I found from editing that it gets a little bland in the background. So until I put some posters up, I'm putting that on my TV. This is number 3. This was just such a good, fun, and original sci-fi movie that we do not get at all this day and age. When is the last time before this one that we've got an original sci-fi movie with an original concept that is just so fun, manages to be massively entertaining, and awesome? It's been a while. This one takes its concept, ramps it up to the max. It's goofy in all the best ways. It's funny. It's filled with some action-packed sequences. It's filled with some horrifying sequences. And a lot of the ideas in the plot that we're actually exploring in this movie, any other movie done any other way would be considered highly offensive in the day and age. And I'm just going to go out and say it. We're talking about school shootings. And you do that in any other movie, it's highly offensive. It's not something we want to discuss. And yet, here in Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, what we do with the school shooting subplot is actually kind of sweet. And I never thought I'd be saying sweet and school shooting in the same sentence, but I liked what they did there. My first time watching this movie, and I will say, I've watched it 3 times, this 2 and 3, not as fresh, not as fun as the first time. Obviously, because I know what's going to happen. But I was sitting in that theater seat the first time that I watched this movie, and I was just having a blast, man, and I did not know what was going to happen next. This is so fun. Cast is stacked. Sam Rockwell kills it from start to finish. He's funny. He's charming. He's a very likable hero. So, obviously, you love him. Plus, it's a movie bashing AI, which I am very strongly against, unless it helps me with my homework. And then I'm good with that, right? But no, I'm very much against AI, and it's a movie about being against AI. So all those things I loved probably would be number 1, right? If the ending stuck the landing, which it did not. The movie just ends. Like, it goes off on a subplot like, oh, we're not done yet. We gotta do this all again. And then it ends. Not satisfying. Not satisfying. And I know we're probably not getting a sequel, but I want to see a sequel. I want to see where Gore Verbinski's going. So, take Gore Verbinski, take him out of director's jail. This movie rocked. Let's talk about a bad movie. Let's talk about a really bad movie. It's The Mandalorian and Grogu. Let's just try to move over from this movie as fast as we can, right? Because the other 2 bad movies, they're going to be fun to talk about. This movie's just exhausting to talk about. Because it's just such a stupid, dumb, nothing burger of a movie. It is 3 or 4 episodes of The Mandalorian TV show crammed into a 2-hour runtime, and it sucks. It is so miserably boring, where it's not even fun to rant about this movie, right? Where, like, there's a lot of things that could be very cool with a Mandalorian movie. It's shot for IMAX. There were one sequence that looked somewhat okay, but it could be very cool. The score, I will say also, I spent a lot of this weekend listening to movie scores, because I got bored of, like, regular music, so I've been listening to a lot of movie scores, and The Mandalorian by Ludwig Göransson is one of the best scores of all time. Anyways, besides those 2 tiny, tiny little positives, it's just boring. It just has nothing to say. If I watched it on Disney Plus, I would have fallen asleep probably. In fact, I was this close to falling asleep in the theater seat. And I'm running out of things to say because I don't remember anything about this movie, really. I remember that I'm so sick of the Grogu stuff where, yeah, it's little baby Yoda. It's little baby Yoda. He's so cute. 6 years ago, he was adorable. Now, in, what year is it? 2026, it's just doing the same thing over and over again. You do something interesting, he could tap into the Force. Interesting, right? No. We're going to pick up Mandalorian and we're going to bonk his head against the wall. And the audience dies of laughter because it's a cute little baby that we haven't done for 6 straight years now. Chris from Film Stoked said it best. He said that it's like if Marvel did the baby Groot thing continuously. If Marvel did the baby Groot thing continuously. And that's so true. Where you never would have had character growth, never would have had that awesome moment in Avengers Infinity War. And you could have a moment like that. You could do something cool with that baby Yoda character. And you don't. It's just so stupid. Rod of the Hutt is just not his own man. He doesn't want to be like his father. He says that line like 22 times in this movie. So it's just boring. Oh, and also, the movie looks like garbage for the most part. You get the little island or the little planet or whatever in the end of the movie. And the planes are flying in. And it looks like somebody just pooped on the screen. And there you go. It looks terrible. So it's just one of the most boring, stupid blockbusters of all time. It's my least favorite Star Wars movie. I can't stand this movie. I didn't even want to rant about it. My number 2 on the good side is Hokum. This movie is awesome, so much so that it was my favorite movie of the year for like a week until my number 1 favorite movie of the year came out, and you already know what it is. I guarantee you already know what the movie is. But it's Hokum. Hokum is great, right? I really, really, really had a great time with this movie. It is able to, like, from the very get-go of the movie, establish a very compelling plot. From the very first sequence of the movie, I am completely invested. I very much want to know where this plot is going. A lot of people, their criticism was they didn't like Adam Scott's character. It was a very hard watch until the middle portion of the movie. And I cannot disagree more. I wanted to know what made Adam Scott such a pathetic character that the longer the story goes, the more reveals in this overall mystery that we get, they're very satisfying. So for a horror film, the plot is extremely compelling, and then you get the scary stuff. And on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like an 8.5 on the scare level. That thing, you know what it is. Boom, that thing. Scary stuff. And every time that thing was in this movie, it can be very scary. But overall, the tension, I saw people compare this movie to a video game, and I cannot agree more, honestly, where it's kind of like you're trying to survive the night with all this crazy stuff happening, all these riddles, all these mysteries, and it is compelling the whole way through. Everybody's performance is great. The reveals that we get are really good. And I just walked out of the theater from this movie saying, that was a lot of fun. It captured all the horrifying elements I needed this movie to capture. Hokum is a big win for me. Here she comes. It's the freaking bride. And it's garbage. This, if you go back and watch my most anticipated movies list of the year, this movie was on that list. Why, you may ask? I don't know. I thought the trailers looked good. I saw a lot of talent in the cast and the filmmaking aspect of it. Bad. This movie is the most mind-numbingly, insufferably bad movie I've seen in quite some time. Because there's a lot of potential here. Everybody is on their A game in the film, cast-wise. Christian Bale and our last Best Actress Oscar winner, Jessie Buckley, and everybody's good. There is some good filmmaking aspects on screen. The cinematography is gorgeous. I saw it on IMAX. biggest mistake. I also saw Mandalorian and Grogu on IMAX. Really big mistake there. What was the last place? Oh, I did not see that movie on IMAX. Okay, you'll find out here in a minute, but not a good year for IMAX, apparently. I lied. The Odyssey came out. I'm getting sidetracked. What am I talking about? The Bride, where the movie looks good. But the story, the script, all pathetic. The movie lost me within the first 5 minutes of the film, where they decide to have The Bride be a mix of Mary Shelley and The Bride, where she's fading in and out of consciousness between Mary Shelley and the bride, so you'll just get like a very serious scene and you're actually invested in what's going on, and then she'll just pop in, say the most random stuff imaginable, like, "I love Mary Shelley, I'm gonna point around to stuff on the room, boxes, popcorn buckets, we got the cool Wolverine cup here." Yeah, she'll just be doing that, like just grabbing random things, just saying what they are. Very distracting. It is boring. I'm just gonna say it's boring. Where nothing interesting in this movie really happens. Like, we're diving into the story of the Bride of Frankenstein, but it moves at such a slow pace that, and every time that something interesting does happen, it loses me with the dumb Mary Shelley stuff. And there's so many interesting ideas that could be put on screen here, right? Like women's fighting for rights back in that time. Or, I don't know, the horrifying monster stuff. But there's so much stuff going on that nothing ever stands out, and you're going from women's rights to horrifying monster stuff to detective mystery to romance. Bang, 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 that nothing has time to sit and marinate. Nothing has time to do anything, and it just gets boring, insufferable at times, and this was a movie that I was counting down the time for it to end. The Bride will end up being a massive disappointment this year. I did not like this movie in the slightest. It did showcase some talent. Bad. And now it's time for our most surprising, most disappointing, before I give you my best and worst films of the year so far. Before I tell you that, if you would subscribe, like button, hit the bell, and the most important part, comment down below. What are your opinions on this year so far? What's your best? What's your worst? For me, overall, the year has been a little bit disappointing. But that's just me. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. With that said, the most surprising movie of the year so far is a movie called Normal. Now, this one debuted at the South by Southwest Film Festival that I really wanted to go to, but I'm a broke college student, so I could not afford a $1,000 ticket to go to that. But I like a lot of movies out of that festival I hear great things about, and I watch and I'm disappointed by them. And I kind of wanted to go to the movies with my family for a weekend or on a Saturday. So this was the only movie in theaters that they haven't seen, that I haven't seen. So we went just like on a whim, and I completely loved this movie. There are issues, right? The first act of the movie has some very questionable dialogue choices where it's like, what are we doing? Why are we having this inner monologue where we're explaining every single little thought that Bob Odenkirk's having? Like, he's walking around, he goes, "Oh, there's Paradise Deli. Their waffles are delicious," and then just keeps walking down the street. Like, very questionable choices like that. I had no idea where the story was going, and I hope you guys watch this movie and have no idea where the story is going. Let me just say, ninjas, gunfights, and mystery, and John Wick. All I'm gonna say. By the way, if you hear like some cutting things, my landlord's out there cutting the grass. So just want to let you know. But yeah, man, that sentence alone, that statement alone, I tell you, and you might think, wow, that sounds insane. And I'm here to tell you that it is insane. It is an awesome, awesome movie. Bob Odenkirk absolutely kills in it. Like I said, I'm not telling you the plot of the movie, but when it starts to kick in, when the events of this movie happen, you're going to be having a great time, especially if you're an action movie fan like me, because it makes way for some awesome action sequences. Every action sequence in this movie is awesome. It's bloody. It's gory. It's just pure chaos from start to finish. And that's exactly what I wanted from this movie. And that's exactly what it gave me. So going blind, it gets insane from halfway point, not even halfway, a little bit before halfway point of the movie on Normal. Most surprising movie of the year. Go check it out. But unfortunately, my most disappointing movie of the year is going to have to be 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Now, there is a lot of things I loved about this movie, and I was very much looking forward to it because I was such a massive fan of the first 28 Years Later because of a lot of things that the movie did great. Very excited going into this one, even though like the Nia DaCosta directing stuff made me extremely nervous. And there were a lot of things, like I said, that I loved here. Jack O'Connell's performance, terrifying. One of the most terrifying horror villains I have seen in quite some time. Ralph Fiennes, he absolutely kills it. His relationship with Samson in the movie is great. There are some sequences that make you want to throw up watching it. You see people getting skinned alive. It goes from the dark nature of 28 Years Later, and it just amps it up to 11. The Jimmies are awesome. And when you think about this movie, you think about the Jimmies and the stuff they do and the stuff you see in this movie. And it's just awesome, right? It is awesome when it's doing that. I didn't feel any emotional connection to the story whatsoever. Despite there being so many awesome things that the movie does, I just never felt any connection to the overall story. And it just makes some very poor decisions where Alfie Williams' character, blanking on his name right now, but his character, Spike, that's his name. They only say it 100 different times in the first movie. But his character, what they do with him is he's a scared little boy. Where in 28 Years Later, he makes some tough decisions. He has a grand character arc. He doesn't do anything in this movie. And it's very unfortunate because he had such a great prominent character arc. The way that the movie ends is just downright disrespectful, I think, to a character where we have a big death, but it is just like, a character's like, you know you're gonna die, right? That's a knee slapper. Like, the major character is dying in the franchise, and you're just looking at him, you're gonna die. Disrespectful. Has no emotional weight that first movie had. You have that Bone Temple scene. This movie doesn't have anything like it. So I saw it in theaters 2 separate times. Each time I watched it, I'm like, I'm just not really connecting to this story. Very frustrating because this was my most anticipated movie of the year after how much I loved 28 Years Later. I was just highly disappointed. You know what? I didn't hate part 1 or part 2 or chapter 1 or chapter 2, whatever you want to call them. I thought there was some good things about them, right? I thought that the first one had some pretty scary moments, and chapter 2 was actually quite entertaining at times. So going into this one, I was just a little bit excited for it. Was hoping, you know what? This is The Strangers. You know, I liked the first 2. People hated it, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do here. But for the first half, I was actually having a decent time. Invested in the story, wanted to see how it closed out, wanted to see how the mystery ended. Big sigh. It sucks. Sucks. It's bad. I probably should tell you why it's bad. Stupid characters. So, there's a point where this dude just walks in, right? Let me give you a little example. Okay? I'm going to step back. It's a small trailer. The whole thick camera might shake at this point, right? This dude pulls out a little device, you know, like a yeah, a pew-pew. I'm not going to say the other thing because I want money. I don't get paid for these. But maybe if I do. YouTube? Can I start getting paid? Getting off track. So he pulls out a thing, right? He walks up to a stranger, dude in the mask. I can clearly know this guy kills him. Has a freaking he has a freaking mask on at this point. He walks up, he points a gun at him, right? And he's like, "All right, Buster, I'm gonna shoot you." And the stranger's like, "Put down your gun." And he's like, "Say less." So he throws the gun on the ground. Stranger comes at him with an axe and just chops his head off. I nearly just busted my head open. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Trying to give you a little peek there. That's just one of the least stupid scenes They're in a car, right? They pull up to a trailer where one of the strangers has been living. So the guy with the little device that we talked about earlier gets out. That's when he gets killed. He tells the two people in the car not to stay in the car with the keys and the air conditioning to where if something happens, you can just, I don't know, put that thing in reverse, vroom, drive away. No, he says, go get in the trailer. A tear slowly drips down my cheek. He tells them to go get in the trailer. So, naturally, what do? They get out, they go in the trailer. Kill me. They die. They get killed. And meanwhile, we're following Malin Petch's character, who was actually, for some odd reason, amazing in the first two Strangers movies. We're following her character, and she sits around. She doesn't say a word. She cries a lot. She says maybe 10 lines of dialogue throughout this whole thing. And then the last scene of the movie, she dances with one of the strangers, kisses him, and then kills him. Because that makes sense. None of the arcs, none of the character moments, nothing works. It's just stupidity upon stupidity upon stupidity upon stupidity upon stupidity. Whoever wrote this script needs to be dragged out on the street, take this little pew-pew I got there and pew-pew his head off, right? Because stupid. Unbelievably stupid script. Like, not saying that the first two movies had smart characters. This one takes it off to another level. And just that ending, by the time we got to that point, I'm like, I'm over this. I was the only one in my theater. I had a lot of time to say, are we serious? Staring up at the screen. I kind of stood up for a minute. Kind of took a jog around the theater, believe it or not. I jogged. But, no. Feels weird ranting about, I talked about it for so long, the TV kind of broke. Feels weird ranting about that movie because, like, The Bride and Mandalorian Grogu had a lot more potential than this, and probably should be lower on this list. This one I just have at the bottom because it's the most incompetently made movie of the year. But my number one for the first half, currently my number two because The Odyssey kind of pushed it out, is Obsession. This movie rocks, dude. What can I say about this movie that I haven't already in like the 4 or 5 different videos I made about this movie? It's awesome. Curry Barker is a genius. Is an absolute genius. Whether from a filmmaking standpoint, where the cinematography, you see shadows, you see sequences. Throughout the entire movie, it's foreshadowing what's going to happen. It's just these tiny little hints that's genius. Or it's the script that, like, is able to muster up so much psychological horror. Like, the ideas presented in this movie is very basic. Psycho girlfriend. Wants to keep you forever is insane. Something that we've seen many times before. The way this movie does it is in such a unique and interesting and different type of way than any film ever because of the way the script uses it. The imagery in this film is downright horrifying. The sound design makes you shake. Like, I saw this movie twice in the theater. Second time with my best friend, was cuddling with him. Like, we were snuggled up together because we were both genuinely scared. He says it's his favorite horror movie of all time now. It's in my top 10 of the decade so far, and it might continue to climb. But we didn't even talk about the best part of this movie yet, and that's Indy Navarrete, who just acts circles around everybody else. And that's not saying that Michael Johnston isn't great. He's phenomenal in this movie. Indy Navarrete is absolutely insane. Her performance, her eye language, the way that she moves, the backwards walk, it's all done to perfection. In one of the best horror films and more unique and downright terrifying horror films I've ever seen. So, Obsession gets the number 1 spot, only to be dethroned by The Odyssey. We'll say it could be a bit exhausting at times. I think that just adds to the overall horror experience. So, I love this movie. It's my number 1. So tell me down below in the comment section your 3 best, your 3 worst, your most surprising, most disappointing movies of the year so far. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. And with that said, subscribe.